Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and we're back with a revisit of sorts for the weekly series. We're going to be playing the Black-White Erstwhile Mastery list. However, I have actually customized this one a little bit to actually go into the best of threes, so you guys wanted to see it, so who am I to deny you such things when this deck is so much fun? So, be sure to check out the deck tech if you want to see how this deck functions. It's a bit of a weird one with a lot of odd little inclusions in the sideboard and the main, so I do highly recommend checking out the sideboard just for that kind of thing, and the deck tech, of course, for that stuff. I did also do a best of one series on this as well, so I will leave that down in the description below if you guys want to go see that. It shows the Mastery deck in action, so it's a hell of a lot of fun, has a very spicy win con, so I hope you guys enjoy this match, and I will see you in the games. Okay then, let's go, shall we? Let's see what we got. Godless Shrine tapped into Swamp Revitalize. This is a fine hand, I guess. It has no interaction other than consume, but I'm sure we'll draw into it. I'm always happy to just take a reasonable mana base, and this is exactly what this is. It's a white source off of being able to cast Kaya's Wrath on turn 4, which is cool, especially with 2 cantrips as well. So Revitalize being cast actually enables the Consecrate to actually be used as well. Something to be aware of, but we're not going to need to do that because we have the ritual anyway, so we can continue to cantrip. Against a red-white deck, this is kind of... If it is Boros aggro... Oh. What in God's name is this? Well, it's a creature deck, so it should be cool. And having Moment of Craving to get rid of their sacrifice outlet works for me as well. Since this thing can actually sacrifice to become indestructible, it's good to know that we actually have a way of dealing with it. I'm gonna go with the Judith. The Judith, eh? Now I'm unsure of which creature I want to kill. I think it might still be the Pitiless Pontiff, because of the indestructibility. It's like we could draw Mortifies and things like that for Judith. Speak of the devil. Alright. Whereas if we let the Pontiff go, there's a chance that they can, at some point, set up a situation where we can't kill it. Do I even want to kill Judith right now? I don't think so. You really want to balance your life total and cards in hand for the most part, because although you do cantrip quite a lot with this deck, you are replacing a card with another, and eventually you will go down on cards, so it's really important that you keep some level of cards in hand, so using your life total to not necessarily kill Judith right here means that I can use my life total to draw into something like a board wipe, which would be much better to kill multiple creatures instead of Mortify to just kill one. It's kind of the idea. So do I want to Duress? I don't know if I do. I could Mastermind's Acquisition for a Lich's Mastery. It's about the time when I'd want to think about doing that. And I don't think my opponent's going to be Duressing me anytime soon. Yeah. Let's just go digging. Get our Lich's Mastery. If I grab it this way, less chance of me drawing it as well. I can get more answers to this board state. I mean, I could Duress here. I'm probably not going to get a better option. I thought this might be a weird Afterlife kind of build with death triggers because of the Pontiff. They've got a Mortify. That's pretty much a dead card, but spare Judith and a Plaguecrafter. It's a hand I can get behind. Although, Plaguecrafter here, if they did cast it, is going to make me discard a card, which I'm not too pleased about. I think they're just waiting for a creature, and they're never really going to get that opportunity. So the best thing that they could really do is actually Plaguecrafter and sack the Judith and just replay the Judith. I'm pretty sure that's like the best line for them. Okay. So I'm a land short of Mastery. I think we just still pass here. I really like the idea of having all of these life gain spells in hand for when I drop a mastery. We've got 5 cards in our graveyard, and I'm going to use my life total the best I can in order to get as low as possible on my life without dying before I drop the mastery. Because my life is 25 now, but as soon as I drop mastery, you can think of your graveyard as your life total. So by playing mastery, if I was to play it this turn, I would go from 23 life down to what is effectively 5. Anything beyond that, and I have to start sacking lands and cards in hand, and that's a pretty good way to get yourself killed in this deck. Alright, so we do have the Vraska's Contempt. I'm not too happy to contempt this Judith, because if I do that, I do gain a bit of life back, but then we open up this Judith to be casted, and I don't really care for that. So I think it's just another pass again. And now we have the Lich's Mastery mana, and we just keep passing. We can build up cards in our graveyard by using some of these removal spells if we really want to. I want a better option than Judith, though. I'm even happy to take this ping trigger if it comes to it. Okay. Godless Shrine, eh? Alright, yep, keep going. I've just got so much time to build up my board state, build up my graveyard, that I'm in no rush, and I think my opponent is like... I think they're fearing a board wipe of some sort. They don't want to commit to this board state. Because eventually, they know eventually I'll have to deal with this Judith. So when I eventually deal with it, that's when they'll drop down their next Judith, they'll drop down all of their creatures, and then they'll start going wide. Also, good part about Reliquary Tower is I don't have to discard to hand size, so I can keep taking this damage. I can keep not playing cards. I'm not forced into playing any at any point whatsoever. Mastermind's Acquisition. What can Mastermind's Acquisition get me? It could get me the Immortal Sun. That would be reasonable, I guess. Yeah, let's get the Immortal Sun. Let's just start drawing extra cards. It's really nice to set up after Lich's Mastery as well. Grab the Immortal Sun. And that's something we can play next turn. I might consider actually playing the Revitalize on my opponent's end step just to cycle it. It is a draw 4. There we go, we got some Tithe Taker action now. So that makes my Revitalize cost 3 on their turn. And my Consecrates as well. So, yeah, I will actually Revitalize, because it gives me an opportunity to play the Immortal Sun and still have life total left over. We're going to need to find a board wipe, I think. I mean, I could double Contempt or Contempt Mortify. There are options that I have available to me. But, honestly, I'd prefer the 2-for-1. Tithe Taker kind of wants to be exiled as well, just because of the Afterlife token. Yeah, let's just drop down the Immortal Sun. And pass the turn. Argyle's Bloodfast. And start taking some damage. Yeah, drawing some cards. If my opponent draws too many cards, then Awaken the Erstwhile might not be the best option for us. But we do have plenty of other win cons at our disposal. That could do quite nicely here. It's like we could even get something like Ethereal Absolution and just start killing creatures, making tokens, and then swinging over the top. Let's see. I think this is the time when we drop down Lich's Mastery, because we have the Revitalize right off the bat. We take 5, and we got 7 cards in our yard. We're also drawing a metric ton of cards as well. Yeah, let's drop down Lich's Mastery. And let's revitalize. Draw 4. This lets me go search for something like Settle the Wreckage. So I have the Mortify on Tithe Taker if I want it. I get pinged for 1, 2, so I end up losing 1 less life in total by that plan. Maybe. I could also take down the Bloodfast as well. But if they go down to low lives, then I can do like Ethereal Absolution as my win con. I could even definitely go a lot further than them in card advantage anyway. Yeah, let's just kill Tithe Taker with the Mortify. I could even get rid of this Plains in hand if I really wanted to, but it does not benefit me to exile anything but the graveyard first anyway, because cards in hand actually matters as much. Oh yeah, it's not actually a 1/1. Yeah, well. Pitiless Pontiff. Yeah, that was my mistake. Completely forgot about the Judith Pump. I was like, yeah, this'll come back as a 1/1, it's fine. This is non-tokens. Going down quite low. Poison-tipped Archer. And then take 4. Okay. 4 of our 8 cards in our graveyard. I'm still fine with all of this. Vraska's Contempt. Alright, so we could do Contempt, Contempt. Draw 4. Something along that line, anyway. Or Contempt the Poison Tip. Kaya's Wrath, lose 3. Maybe. I gotta be careful because this Pontiff can stop me from killing creatures with my life gain strategies. Potentially. And if I went for the Contempt here, they get the Judith anyway. So it could be kill Pontiff with, like, Consume, draw 3. So we take 1. I don't honestly think that I can lose this game with pretty much any line that I take. I'm pretty sure that this is a lock no matter what happens, to be honest. But it's better to take some lines that you might not necessarily want to take. I mean, I can Contempt Judith now on their turn. I think that's what I'll do. I might take the 4 and then on their end step Contempt them so that they don't play this other Judith. They've got lots of cards in hand. We've used 1, 2 of our Contempts. Not Contempts, Masterminds Acquisitions. But yeah, the fact that they've taken themselves down to 4 means that, like, 2 zombies actually have to get in damage here for me to win. There's Rekindling Phoenix. Okay. Well, 2 Contempt targets right there. Tap land means that Judith's not getting cast. So let's Contempt Judith. It's an interesting deck for my opponent. They've not shown me too much either. They've shown me like a general Aristocrats kind of plan. But that's really about it. Like poison-tipped archers and Judiths, and then start sacking creatures with Pontiff. That's their game plan, essentially. Which I think we can keep up with. So they've got 2 mana left. They've already made their land drop. Just going to discard. So I think I am going to duress them here. Ooh, you know what we could do? We could Mastermind's Acquisition for Fall of the Thran, because I'm a little worried that they might be running Settle the Wreckage, which is kind of why I want to duress them right now. So we could take Fall of the Thran, use it, floating mana, And then awaken the Erstwhile. While they have no lands, we go wider than them and kill them. That could be a plan. I think it's a plan that I'm into. That's basically why it's here in the sideboard as well. That and control matchups, it's just very good to hit. So yeah, I think we take Fall of the Thran. Eldest Reborn. Yeah, let's take Fall. Duress them to make sure they can't duress us. And also, it's one less zombie that they get as well. Mausoleum Secrets. Interesting. It's probably the only card I care about. It is an interesting one, though. Vraska's Contempt, the Phoenix. Draw 2. There's Kaya's Wrath, and then we'll play a Swamp so that we have Moment of Craving and Mortify open on their turn. And we just win next turn. Well, we establish our win con next turn, should I say. I guess their only out is to have Cleansing Nova in their deck. That's essentially it. So they flip their Bloodfast, get a Judith. Eldest Reborn, yeah. That doesn't actually do anything in terms of establishing a win. So they go to combat. We will Moment of Craving to draw some extra cards because we can. Going down to 16 cards. You see, we actually have to go with the Fall of Thran plan now. Because we've used all of our Masterminds acquisitions, it means it's the last of our win cons. So this absolutely has to resolve for us to win this game. Or at least we have to run them out of threats, I guess. And then mill them. That's an alternative. So we're just going all in at this point. I have a hard time seeing us lose here. Alright. My turn. Draw 2. So, float all of our mana. Get a bit of white in there. We will Fall of the Thran. Destroy all the lands. It worries me that it wants to... How do I get it to not use all of my... Actually, hang on. We could do that, can't we? 6. And then do a full control mode. That way I get to just dictate what it taps. Oh, cost reduction, of course. And then float. Resolve. Kill all your lands. Opponent gets to float. They're going to mortify. Well, that's really going to backfire on you. Because I have lands in hand and you do not. So I will make my land drop. And I will win. And I'll even draw some more cards. Flawless victory! Oh dear, I can take full control off now. I even have 1 white mana. I could cantrip my Consecrate. I'm not going to do that though. Get rid of a land. Draw some cards, discard them all. 23 3s to your 4 2/2s. We don't discard anything because we just did. Our opponent doesn't get any lands back on our up on our main phase because he destroyed the Fall of the Thran. I think he assumed it was part of our win con. And he basically had no other option. So, yeah. Dead. Alright, so this is an Aristocrat style deck. We could bring in the Ixalan's bindings, but we know they're running Mortifies, so that's not really going to work for us. Eldest Reborn doesn't really do anything. It makes us discard a card, and that's effectively it. Moment of Cravings looked really good there. We'll bring those in. They're not a colour of deck that interacts with our combo, I don't think. So, they're not going to be able to duress enough to kill us here, I don't think. Ethereal Absolution's an interesting one. I think it's ultimately bad in some situations, though, because of the Aristocrat style. They want creatures to be dying, so I don't get to trigger on my own terms when that happens. Sorcerer's Spyglass can name Pitileth Pontiff, so that you don't have the sack option. That's maybe about it. I think our deck is effectively set up to beat theirs, though. I don't really have to worry about too much. It's literally like counter duresses, I think, if I was to keep running them. I don't know if I want to counter duress. Yeah, I'm not sure if I need any of them. I'll just cut one and just run it like that. This is a situation where I might want Settle the Wreckage over Kaya's Wrath, but it's not something I have available to me. Yep, let's run it like that. Okay, this hand is pretty good. We have the Revitalize into Mortify, castable Kayas on 4 most likely because of the amount of draws we'll get, and a Masterminds to find whatever we need. Yeah, we'll take this. No turn 1 duress. That's good. It wouldn't hurt us too much, because as we mentioned we can still cast the Mortify, but it would be somewhat annoying, I guess. There's the Pontiff. Gonna need an answer to that in some reasonable time frame. And we're bringing in Judith. Here's Judy. Alright, let's revitalize. Start digging for our removal spells, because we do need them. And Kaya's Wrath's not going to be too effective against the Pontiff, because he can sack in response to a certain few things. I could Ritual to find my 4th land. If he goes and taps out, then we could potentially punish that. And I get my Contempt next turn. We can do whatever we want to do on his turn anyway. We just don't get the opportunity to kill Pontiff in time, I guess. There's Poison-Tipped Archer. So this is my window to kill Pontiff, I would say. I don't really care about these pings all that much. But the Sacrifice Outlet might be a little bit too annoying. So is this whenever a creature dies? It's another creature. So these trigger each other, but they don't trigger themselves, right? Oh, she triggers herself. Okay. So I mean we could lose 2 life here by just Kaya's Wrathing 2 of their things away. I think that's fine. It's a fairly important engine piece, and we can just shut that down. It's not as if we have the Lich's Mastery around where this is a little bit more painful. So we take 3. Down to 14. Duress. Alright, we have too much gas for that to really matter. I guess they could take the Mastermind's Acquisition. Yeah, so we don't have the sideboard options. And Revival on Judith. Alright, well we have Moment of Craving and Vraska's Contempt on Judith, so not too fussed about that. Let's just pass the turn. I was kind of hoping for a land drop. I want to progress my mana base a little bit. But Contempt on Judith seems fine to me as well. Got to be careful that I do it before they play something like a Tithe Taker, because that does increase the cost of things on their turn. But they're just going straight to combat, so we're just going to Contempt Judith right now. And Settle the Wreckage is pretty cool. I like that one. We've missed our land drop, so I think I'm going to go with the ritual plan here. If we get a land, it means we can Moment of Craving. So we can kill a Pitiless Pontiff or something like that. Basically anything except for their poison-tipped archer. And they're going to get me to discard. Okay. I'll discard a Moment of Craving, I guess. It could be the Mortify. I think the Moment of Craving is just better to discard, though. Mortify is more versatile. Moment comes with a little bit of life gain, which is an argument for it. Again, I think I'm just going to Ritual looking for a land drop, because we've missed it again. And we get a Vraska's Contempt. Okay. This is kind of the problem situation with the deck, where it's just not finding what it needs. There we go. Alright, so this could be our window to mastery. But if he has a duress, we're going to be upset about that. We then have one Mastermind's Acquisition left. Most of our win cons, though, are in the main deck, though. So we don't really have to worry too much. So let's just go get Lich's Mastery. And try to resolve that pretty soon. Probably sooner rather than later, I would say. Although, as I mentioned, it kind of comes with the problem of we lose 10 life here by waiting, or by doing it now. But because we grabbed it, we kind of need to go and worry about duress. We can draw out of it by going Lich's Mastery and then contempting Judith. We're going to lose 5 life. Maybe 8 if they have another Fireblade Artist. It's about the only haste creature I can think of right off the top of my head. Yeah, I think we got to go for it. We'll Contempt, gain 2, draw 2. Does this sacrifice itself? Yeah, it can sacrifice itself. Wouldn't do much good though, it's still 3 damage. But it's something to keep in mind. It can sacrifice other creatures. Alright. Worst outcome for us is they manage to generate much more damage than I've calculated. We can take up to 9 this turn and feel comfortable. So 4 more and I might have to lose a land or a card in hand. But they don't have it. So let's use our colourless mana first. Just so we have the versatility. Contempt Judith. Hopefully they don't remove in response. I'm going to Mortify in response, eh? Alright. That could backfire horrifically. So we get hit. This is basically the clever way to kill us, though. Because we did take a risk. We can Masterminds next turn to get a Revitalize and draw 5. So as long as we don't die here, we can still dig right out of this one. Goes land. And I think we just Mortify the artist here. Less opportunity for them to deal damage. It's like I don't take the 2 there, and then there's no opportunity for them to drop an Aristocrat. A Rekindling Phoenix. There's the Immortal Sun. So the Immortal Sun represents cost reduction. Doesn't allow me to play Acquisition in the same turn. I think we wait on that for now. We just go for the Ritual first. And draw far too many cards for our opponent to keep up with. Draw 5. We can follow that up next turn with an Immortal Sun if we really want to. That's pretty good. So make our land drop. Duresses are interesting. There's a Pontiff. Having the Settle Wreckage is going to be absolutely insane. Though I guess they can actually save their Phoenix with the Pontiff. They can sacrifice it in response so that it turns into a token. Which is kind of a problem. So I guess we have to, like, kill Pontiff first or something like that. Let's see. 3, 6 leaves us with 3 mana. Everything gets a cost reduction, so Settle the Wreckage is castable. You have 3 cards. Potentially 4, 5. Probably going to duress them as well. Immortal Sun starts drawing us extra cards. I've got Lich's Mastery, which is a redundant card, so that's effectively in my graveyard. I don't mind losing that. Yeah, I think we drop Immortal Sun. And we just go for the Settle plan. I guess it depends on what this card is here. I could take the 4 from the Rekindling Phoenix and mortify the Pontiff. Oh, they're getting Judith. Okay. Well, if they play Judith, I get a really good settle here. Yeah, this really works for me. Attack all, opponent. Attack all. Thank you. Now they can't pay for the Pontiff, which means they can't do the Rekindling Phoenix sack plan. Nothing dies, so Judith doesn't get any triggers. We don't have any life gain in our hand, but we were going to draw 2 cards there. So, yeah, we were probably going to dig out of that one. I was happy to mortify the Judith as well. We'd take 1, but we had like 6 or 7 cards in our graveyard at that point. So, yeah, pretty good. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We didn't even manage to get our win con off in the second game, but it didn't really matter. Our opponent was completely out of gas, and we were going to draw out of it. It's very difficult for this deck not to do that once the Mastery and Immortal Sun is in play. So, hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, then be sure to like, subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications when videos go live in the future. As I mentioned multiple times, I do have a best of 1 variant for this one. It's mostly sideboard changes, but I will leave a link in the description below if you're a best of 1 player who wants to play this deck. I would say the best of 1 list is actually better because of sideboarding and things like that. You can bring in mastery options and, you know, people see what you're doing before it happens, so control gets a lot worse. So yeah, something to keep in mind anyway. But yeah, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.